What are your first memories of the business?
From the time I was in it?
Before you were in it.
Not very. Well, I grew up in Indiana. I grew up in the Midwest, and I wasn't a follower of it or a fan of it. My stepdad was, and he used to watch it late at night, and I would hang out when I would hang out with my buddies on the weekends or whatever. I would come in and catch him watching it, and he would fumble for the remote control and change it like he wasn't watching it, like it was a mistake or something. I always thought it was funny. And then later on, of course, it's kind of ironic that I ended up getting in the business. He passed away years before I ever got in the business, so I never had a chance to go back and have him tell me how great I was in comparison to guys like Dick The Bruiser and the Crusher. I can remember those guys. They talk like they ate gravel. That's what I remember hearing them on the TV. But I wasn't a follower of it or a fan of it. It wasn't a goal of mine to get in the business. Working out. When I was in high school, I stumbled into the weight room one day and took up weight training, and that changed my life in a lot of different ways. I was always a kid that was in the wrong place at the wrong time, nothing serious, just delinquent stuff. Of course, those times were a lot different. There weren't the serious things to get into that there are for kids today. But I took up weight training and bodybuilding, and from that, I was bold enough to think after I saw the changes in my scrawny little body that I could make changes in my life in other ways. So I set a goal for myself to in education to become a doctor of chiropractic. So those were my goals.
So you were working as a chiropractor while you were bodybuilding and competing in bodybuilding?
No, I was bodybuilding while I was going to school as a chiropractor, and started competing. Was living in Atlanta, Georgia at the time, and had nearly finished, was a couple credits short of finishing my chiropractic education academically, and was getting ready to start the clinical part of it. And because of my amateur bodybuilding successes, I won the Mr. Georgia in 1984. I went to a junior Mr. USA contest. I competed at the Mr. America, collegiate Mr. America contest. Out of those, an opportunity came to get into professional wrestling.
Right, that was Rick Bassman, correct?
It was, yeah, Rick was doing something in I was out in California. Ed Connors, one of the original owners of the Gold's Gym, the first one, him and two other guys that turned it into the big international franchise it is today. They used to bring two guys out every year and put them up to train for a regional level, national level contest. And I was one of the guys that they chose, people that they thought had potential to go into professional bodybuilding. I went out there, I did that. I didn't fare as well in the contest I got in as we thought I would. I came back to finish my chiropractic, and he called me about this guy who turned out to be Rick, who had this idea that to take these four guys from four different ethnicities and take them into business, walk up to Vince's door and say, you know, I got this group of guys and I want you to make them superstars. We were all ignorant. He was ignorant. He was naive. We were ignorant. We were naive. We were young. I loved working out. I did one of my goals was to become a professional bodybuilder. So I wanted to use all the work and stuff that I had done. And I was a younger student at the chiropractic college than most of the people there. Most of the people there were in their mid-30s, were into pursuing a second career, already had families. I was in my early 20s. And I thought, you know what, I'll take a break because I'd been going through chiropractic straight through. I'll take a break and I'll come back to it later on. Make some money in wrestling. Like everybody else, you see people on TV and say, man, they must make a lot of money. And I had a couple conversations with this guy, definitely not extensive enough. But he really just had a general idea. But he had no idea about the business, how it worked. And once I got out to California, it all very quickly fell apart to the point that we were living off peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, going to the deli aisle at grocery stores at midnight so we could get food in our bodies. It was, you know,